Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Lazy, and I'm here to talk about my current versions of the Siege Cascade Chronomancer build that I put up a few days ago. I am currently level 90s. I'm in the end game right now. This is a relatively cheap variant. It can kill T4 Zesht, keeping all mechanics, so it is viable for all contents in the game. It is an amazing mapper. I have fixed a lot of related issues with the build when mapping, so let's talk about all of that in this video. As per usual, a dedicated timestamp will be there in this video, and let's talk about the concept of this build. So this is a HoWA build at the core, and we scale damage based on the hand of wisdom and actions. It is a very good glove that allows us to stack int for lightning and dexterity for attack speed, and both that benefit us greatly. We already have traveled so far from the sorcerer starting area to the mercenary area to grab the AoE cluster, so we can take a lot of good attribute notes along the way. We are also using Rampant Raptor, which doesn't have any base damage, but it doesn't matter because HoWA is responsible for all of our damage. What Rampant Raptor has is that it has 100% chance to not consume a bolt if you have reloaded recently, and recently in PoE 2 terms mean that in the last 4 seconds. So every time that you reload, you can shoot as many Siege Cascades shot as possible within 4 seconds, and that makes mapping a lot smoother. Beside that, increased attack speed is also a very good stat. It's allow you to attack faster during those 4 seconds, and increased bolt speed is a huge quality of life improvement. It makes your Siege Cascade more responsive by making the bolts go up and down and impact faster. So yeah, overall it's a very good weapon for such a cheap price. Believe it or not, I did get a perfect roll Rampant Raptors for only 1 chaos, and maybe it can go up a little bit after this video. This is an incredibly common unique items that nobody wants, so you can find many of them on the market for cheap. Now you can see that I have kinda ditched the double Herald setup, and this is because going into a HoWA setup will have a lot more damage, and since we attack so fast, we'll be able to proc Herald Thunder much more often, and this alone is enough for us to efficiently clear packs, bridge, rituals, or pretty much any high density contents without the double explosions. In my current setup, Herald Thunder is responsible for 3 things: AoE clearings, crowd control with electrocutions, and sustain my energy chills with culling strikes and shock siphon. It's an amazing 3-in-1 setups for offense, defense, and sustains. Very quick, I want to touch on the interaction between emergency reloads and Rampant Raptor, because this crossbow have a line that said, yeah, so it doesn't consume a bolt if you have reload recently, and reload here actually counts emergency reload. So normally when you have a crossbow that only have 1 bolt like this would only work for 1 shot. However, if you press this button and you shoot for 4 seconds, all the shot is actually empowered. And this is actually crazy because we have, you see here, we have a lot of attack speed, which means we can attack 3.5 attack per second. So we can hit like 14 attack in totals during the buffer time of emergency reload. It has a 30% more damage here, 15, so that's 45% more damage multiplier on top. So you want to use it optimally. Now, to use it optimally, you want to use it within the 4-second attack interval where all the shot is free. So for example, if I were to use it here and then all the next shot is free, and I want to use it in such a way that you use it right after the reload so that all the next 4 shot is free. If you don't use it during a tap, it will look something like this. If I were to shoot, reload, and I have 2 more seconds, if I press it now, I would only have about 2 seconds of uptime on emergency reload. So you want to time it within the 4-second attack interval where the bolt is free to optimize the damage. Now we can discuss the skill gems and the support that I'm using. For time freeze, I'm using Persistence and Ingenuity. Persistent give more skill effect duration. You can see here my time freeze duration is 14 seconds. And Ingenuity lower the cooldown of the skills, 35 seconds is pretty good. You can actually use it during map against rare packs if you want. For Siege Cascade, I have a 6-link. You don't really need it, and you only pretty much need the 3 core item here to start. So Martial Temple is very good. It gives attack speed, It allows you to attack more per second doing those free shot that is activated by Rampant Raptors. And yeah, you can see here, I have attack 3.5 per second. It also make reloads faster. So we can reload about 1 second per reload, and it feels pretty good during map, so it is very good. Map Define effect increase the bolt explosion radius. So right now it's 1.6 meter, make it a lot easier for us to overlap damage for single target as well as AoE clearing during map. Conduction is here to give shock to our Siege Cascade, which we'll be using to activate Herald Thunders. So yeah, these three at the core. Primal Elements and Lightning Infusions both give 25% damage multiplier. They are in a different bucket, but they are essentially the same. One is 25 extra damage as gain, right? The gain damage, and one is 25% more damage. And as you get more link into Siege Cascade, you can use one of them. Doesn't really matter, they are equally as good. I'm also using a Storm Cold Arrow setup, but this is mainly for pinnacle bosses. For bosses that have like 10 million, 20 million HP. Yeah, so I use it to give lightning exposure. So I have lightning exposure, strip away, lasting shock, and overcharge. It's not really that important. I'd never need to use it during normal maps or normal bosses. Vine Arrow setup. So my Vine Arrow setup is pretty much the same. I just add a Kong effect. So Scatter Shot is here so that you can get more Vine on the ground on a rage to give you extra attack damage. Clock effect so that these things don't spread out as much, and it will focus on here at least so that when we shoot the Siege Cascade, it will all overlap on the boss easier. For emergency reloads, I'm using Premeditations for more damage. Murderous Intent is here for Calling Strike. Yeah, so pretty standard. Spring Feast is here so we can effectively double our ES during maps. Blasphemy support, I'm still using the same thing: Temporal Chain, Ritualistic Curse, Encumbrance, and Heightened Curse. And for another link, if I was to add, I would probably take Whisper of Dooms and add in Conductivity, and we'll drop one of these aura. But yeah, for now, War Banner is still very good. It gives us a lot of attack damage, and I find myself liking it a lot more than doing a double curse setups. Overwhelming Presence is here so that our skills can shock and electrocute a lot easier. I have added Electrocute and Mirror Overload on Herald Thunder so that this skills will Herald Thunder attack will electrocute mob during maps, and if you see me mapping, you will see that a lot of mobs get electrocuted, so it's another layer of defense and crowd control on top. I also have Shock Siphons and Innervates for more damage. Technically, we do want Herald Thunder to kill the monster so that we can actually recover 4% energy shields when this skills do a killing blow to shock enemy. So if you really want to have better sustain, maybe during those Burning Ground map, you could also put in Calling Strike here. So Shock Siphon, Calling Strike, make sure that we call that monsters to get those energy shields. However, it only kind of work on rare and unique monsters, so it's not as strong as I think. So Innervate should be a better choice in my opinion, because it gives extra lightning damage so that the skill can actually kill things. For a 6-link setup, you could probably add in Longshot as well for even more damage, but yeah, that's pretty much my current setups. I want to quickly touch on the Ascendancy and why did I pick Chronomancer, because traditionally Chronomancer is an utility-based class, or Ascendancies, which not a lot of people choose because they don't add any damage to the build. So for example, you can see here, now and again, skill have 33% chance to not consume a cooldown when used. That is an utility skills. Time Snaps, reset the cooldown of your other skills and other utilities. Time Freeze, a form of crowd control. Temporal Rift, just reset your life mana and energy shields. I have some cast speed over here, some life recoup over here, and enemies around you are slow. So yeah, traditionally this class or Ascendancy does not add a lot of damage to any particular build, but for us, Siege Cascade have this particular line right here, which says that we do 50% more damage against immobilized enemy, and with 20% quality, you can deal up to 90% more damage against immobilized enemies. And if you know PoE 2 damage calculation formula, you know that more damage multiplier is extremely strong. You dealt almost double damage against immobilized enemies, which is crazy. And it works for both the impact and the explosion part, so there's that. And by having access to time freeze, you have an unconditional on-demand trigger button to basically trigger immobilize, because time freeze count as immobilized. So you have, on our trees, we can scale time freeze duration up, so you have 14 seconds of time freeze, and during those 14 seconds, the enemies cannot hit you, the boss cannot fight back, and you have 90% more damage against the enemies, right? So in the beginning, you see that I killed T4 Zesht within the time freeze duration of 14 seconds. The boss are not able to fight back. You are able to skip all mechanics. So this alone makes this class and Ascendancy Choice an amazing bosser. And now for the other utilities that is good with this class, we have Apex at the moment, which slow enemy around you by 20%, and you also have extra debuff on slow magnitude. So I pair this together with Blasphemy support, and I put Temporal Chain on here to further slow all the monsters around you. So this is going to benefit us both offensively and defensively. So for Siege Cascade, we'll have an easier time hitting the targets, and defensively, it makes the monster really slow. So realistically, we're not ever going to get hit, at least during mapping. So I choose not to take Time Snap. And this is because it's a little bit redundant, right? So reset the cooldown of your other skills. Time Freeze does have a diminishing return over here, as you can see. Affected enemy has time freeze duration half for each time they have been frozen. So for example, if I were to freeze the boss for 14 seconds, I can use Time Snap, trigger it again, and the boss would only be frozen for another 7 seconds. And then if I can do one more time, that's 3.5 seconds, and so on. So it's not really worth it to keep stacking those numbers up. Ideally, you would kill the boss within 15 seconds, but if not, you could also put in second wind support in time freeze, which make it so you could cast it twice. And yeah, it does work, and you don't really need time snaps. For the order of the ascendancies, I would recommend going to tech time freeze first. Then you can path to Apex at the moment, and you can finish it up with the now and again. On this topic, let's quickly talk about what is important in our passive skill trees. And because we are a Hand of Wisdom and Action build right now, the main thing we want to do to stack intelligence for more lightning damage. And this means that at the start, we are going to path out here, grabbing all the intelligent node as you can. All the attribute is going to be intelligence. Pretty much all the attribute node that you see here is dexterity, is for me to satisfy the dex requirements. So yeah, pretty much everything you want to put in intelligence for you to do more damage. And talking about intelligence, some of the good stacking node that you want to do is you want to at least for weapon set 1, right? So you see right here, I'm on my weapon 1, which means I'm using the weapon set 1 weapons, and you want to take Peel Power for more damage. You want to take Wildstorm, is extremely good. It have more maximum lightning damage, which is good for lightning damage in particular. I also path down here as well. I grab Falcon Technique. Actually, it's just more attack speed stacked on top of this attack speed stack of Hand of Wisdom. And then I take this for even more dexterity. And down here, I also grab all the area cluster, which, by the way, we already traveled all the way down here just to grab this, and so it make it easier. All these nodes, I grab intelligence for even more damage. I also path here, take polymathy because we are doing stacking. I also go down here to get lightning rod for non-critical hit is lucky, which means our damage will get rolled twice, and we'll do a lot more damage because we don't rely on critical. And this give me more chance to shock, penetrate lightning resistance. Alright, so beside that, I am also scaling all these curse here with the I kind of have to path away from the curse effect here because we don't have enough point, but eventually I do want to go back and grab these if possible. Which, I mean, I'm already level 90 right now, so it's kind of hard to do that. So yeah, for my second weapon set, if I were to switch to my bow here, you can see that I grabbed pretty much all the skill effect durations. These are all skill effect durations. Down here, I have skill effect duration cooldown recovery, which is extremely strong. I pretty much, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I also go down here, grab this skill effect duration, again, skill effect duration. So pretty much everything's is for me to have more skill effect duration on this vine, more skill effect duration for time freeze, and it is have pretty good synergies together. Beside that, you could try to grab all these maximum energy shields. It's against our form of defense. We are CI. And yeah, so more energy shield here, but pretty much everything else, just focus on grabbing as much intelligence as you can on the passive skill trees. As a matter of fact, I could spec out a little bit. I could lower my dexterity just a little bit to get more intelligence. This number is really nothing compared to the other attribute stacker out there. They have crazy number of intelligence. So yeah, this very media core setups. Currently, I don't even have Ingenuity Bell, and I am able to take down Zesht T4 easily without any issue. So this is the current passive skill trees. Let me see. I think for the next 5 point or 4 points, I'll try to grab Icebreaker as well, because this will make it so I should be immune to freeze, and I don't have to run a Thawing Charm anymore, and I could replace this with Golden Charm, which give me rarity. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's quickly discuss the items and gearing for my current setups. And let's start with the Rampant Raptors, which is an extremely cheap crossbow, because we are, as I explained before, not consumable when you reload recently. It's very strong. You want to have the max roll of attack speed here, which is 40%. Beside that, increased bolt speed is very good quality of life. And for the sockets, you want to put in increased elemental damage with attack rune. This is very important because right now we are using Hand of Wisdom in action, which means our build scales with lightning damage. All of our damage is pretty much lightning, so having increased elemental damage with attack actually helps. And for the corruptions, you want to have another sockets to put in 30% more increased elemental damage with attack. My Hand of Wisdom in actions is a normal one. It's pretty mediocre. And if you want to get a better one, try to have one corrupted with 4% increased attack speed. That would be pretty good. The purpose of this showcase is trying to show you that you can do this on a mid-budget kind of build. So yeah, for the next 2 expensive item on my build, that would be the Bridge Ring. So on the Bridge Ring, you definitely want to have increased lightning damage and the flat lightning damage to attack. These 2 are very important because it helps us scale our damage to even higher. And then you also need to balance all your resistance. So we are CI, we don't care about chaos resistance. This means that it's very easy for us to cap elemental resistance, so it shouldn't be an issue for you. You want to look for gears that have intelligence on your helmets, on your body armor, and on your boots. And also on your rings, your amulet if possible. We are a stat stacking build right now, so which means that I have, so for example, I have strengths here, I have strength and int here, I have int here, int, strength, strength and dexterity, right? So attribute is basically our damage. You want to have it as on all your gears as possible. I have 50 spirits on my body armor. It is totally not needed. As you can see here, I have 11 spirit not used. Yeah, so you pretty much just aim for around 55 spirits on your amulets, and 45 spirits on your body armor should be fine. You want to have roughly around 200 spirits. Beside that, I have the Quill Rain setups, which I'm using a bow, attacks, fire, and additional arrow corruptions. This means that I have 1 more vine per shot on the ground. It's not really necessary. If it's too expensive, you want to go look for one that have 3 sockets, you can put even more increased attack speed on here instead of the rune. And you can also have your quiver with increased attack speed implicit, and corrupted with skill speed to help. So they all help, they all add up to the vine on the ground, because these are your main single target damage setup, because once you shoot, everything will come down on top of this. And they last only for about, let me see, they last roughly 20 seconds, I think. Yeah, 20 seconds. And for your anointment, you want to have Primo Growth. I think Primo Growth is really strong, but it's also very expensive. So yeah, Envy, Fear, yeah, this one would be like cost you like 100x. So there's another options that is very strong and very cheap, which is Devastation, which I think it costs like 10x. It has increased attack area damage and increased area of effect for attack, which is very good for that kind of price. So if you are on a budget, definitely anoint this one. Now let's quickly go over the jewel. And I actually didn't, like, even on the Zesht skill, I didn't even really change my my jewels a lot. Basically, area of effect is still king in this particular setups, and everything else is cherry on top, right? So increased skill effect durations mean that your time freeze lasts longer. Increased effect of your curse mean that tempo chain just work better. Monster is slower. Increased maximum energy shield is good. It's defense. And you could try to get increased lightning damage on here. I have cold damage on here, which doesn't really work. And if you want to get more corruptions on your jewels, definitely look for one with elemental resistance, or even corrupted blood if you can. Definitely try to corrupt all your jewels. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Increased elemental damage is actually pretty good. So this particular jewel is amazing for this build. Alright, so let's quickly do a map showcase where I show you a T4 bridge where I actually kill T4 Zesht, as I show in the introduction of the video. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. This is comparable to all the meta skills out there. It is a one-button map destroyer. You just run around, just spam Siege Cascade, everything will die from the explosions. You don't even need the double Herald explosion right now. As you can see, Herald Thunder is doing work. We're stacking those up a lot faster because our attack shocks, we consume those shocks, and then we have really good energy shield sustains. We just kind of go through map very fast. Rampant Raptor allow us to shoot fast. It feels a lot smoother during mapping. You can do all kind of maps, all those map with small corridors and small map. Doesn't really matter. You just run at the packs and you just destroy them. They will all die from AoE without any issues. I want to show this on the T4 bridge because the mobs here actually have really high level 82. They are quite tanky, and hopefully that if I can show you that you can clear like this, you would have no problem clearing bridge in normal mapping. So normal mapping, I can just destroy everything in 1 or 2 shots, and you just kind of keep going around shooting everything. It is amazing. Honestly, going into this version, I did not expect this variant to perform this well, and I'm really happy with my current setup, so I will probably push this a little bit higher, try to gear up even more, get some really good kills, but this is pretty much going to be the setup. At the end games, really high budget one, I believe a Ray Crossbow is still going to outperform Rampant Raptor in terms of damage. However, it's going to be pretty hard to beat this crossbow on a 1 chaos budget, right? Because this crossbow just give really good quality of life during mapping, attacking really fast. You don't really need to reload, just rain down those fire is very satisfying. So for this particular setups and the skills, I have pretty much only add Stormcaller Arrow to this build because I want a little bit of shocks and lightning exposures, because the majority of our damage, if not 99% of our damage, is lightning. So this skill did take less than 14 seconds. It appears that it's a little bit longer than 14 seconds, but I believe it's because of the server lagging trying to process all the Siege Cascade raining down Zesht. You can see that he died, pretty much did not move at all, so it should be less than 14 seconds. And even if it does, we have another time freeze at the ready. So yeah, it's pretty broken against pinnacle bosses. This is one of the hardest boss in the game. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the build. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down in the comment section below. And with that, I will see you in the next video soon. Just kidding, I'm actually back, and I want to quickly show you that I do have a written guide, and it should be ready very soon, right after this video is released. So if you want to read the written guide, it should have everything that I have explained in the videos. I also have a written guide on the forum as well if you don't like to use Mobalytics, but at least use them for the skill gems and the skill tree setups, because it's a lot better represented there. So yeah, all the link will be in the description of this video. So with that, I will be out for real this time.